What's going on, guys? This is your boy Jordan here. Welcome to the first episode of Jordan Sports Talk here. So, people are wondering, and my friends are even wondering, why did I want to talk about sports all of a sudden? Um, I feel like people are tired of the recycled information that we are getting on some of these broadcasts and TV shows, such as talking about LeBron James for 2 hours or the New England Patriots after a loss or the Boston Celtics after a loss. Um, my job here is basically to keep it simple, keep it brief, explain to the best of my abilities. There are 1,000 other things going on in the world of sports today. So, before we start, just to get to know myself a little bit, and just in case you guys don't know what's going on about me, I'm going to rank by the sports and teams I love. My number one overall, I love Notre Dame athletics. If that's men's and football, that's the top of my list. Number two would be the Baltimore Ravens. Number three would be the Chicago White Sox. Number four, the Charlotte Hornets. And number five, the Anaheim Ducks. So I love all sports possible. My best knowledge is baseball, basketball, and football. I know somewhat hockey. Outside the Ducks, it's not my best knowledge, so I'll try the best. I will do the best I can to give you the best information possible. So what we're doing here is I posted on Facebook, which what we're going to do later on is ask your topics, your questions about what's going on in today's sports and what needs to happen, or what do I think's going to happen, or things like that. And then what's going to happen is I'm going to post on my YouTube channel. Subscribe to Jordan Burnett as always. Uh, and I'm just gonna make it simple, guys. I'm gonna make it nice and simple, and I think eventually, I'll have somebody next to me. I know a couple people ask me, Tyler, if they can be my co-host. Of course you can, and my buddy JMO, who also asked me a question. So I'm excited to get this started. So your name's gonna be brought up when there's a question asked, and I will answer it to the best of my ability, and I'll give you my thoughts and topics. This is absolutely serious. We're gonna have some fun. I'm looking forward to this, guys. So, all right. First question is from Sal. Sal, what's good, bro? How you doing? If DK Metcalf isn't on the draft board, who did the Baltimore Ravens draft? That is a good question. This is kind of tough for me. I think the Baltimore Ravens need a true wide receiver, and I also think it doesn't hurt to have another running back. So, two names brought into mind here. One was wide receiver Hakeem Butler, who ran a 4.49, and also Josh Jacobs from Alabama, a powerhouse at running back. So not only would you have Gus the Bus and Buck Allen, but then Josh Jacobs is a perfect guy for a goal line situation. I think Lamar Jackson is still needs to work on his passing, and I think to have some more running games, maybe a blocking running back too, or maybe a fullback. I think that's going to help him improve by a couple notches. And I think even let's just say Hakeem Butler and Josh Jacobs are even past. Go get some more help at the offensive line position. I think the Baltimore Ravens can never have too many guys blocking. And I think for the Baltimore Ravens, I think that's pretty important. I think if Lamar Jackson can develop a passing game, I think the Ravens can really do some good things. I think the one thing I really liked about him coming into uh, these games ever since that Joe Flacco injury was they controlled the game, and I think it gave their defense fresh legs. I think it was a huge help. They just did a lot. I mean, they compete. They competed. Excuse me. They competed with a lot of teams that they weren't supposed to beat or even come close with. Like they took the Kansas City Chiefs to overtime on the road with Lamar started, and they controlled the possession. They controlled the game against the Los Angeles Chargers in Los Angeles. They controlled the game against the Cleveland Browns. So those are factors that come in, but I would love to see him get DK Metcalf or even Hakeem Butler. I think those two would be one of those two would be a terrific fit. If not, get some more in line help. So, Sal, you the man. And speak of which, you're gonna be double dipping here. If you are the Detroit Pistons, do you trade everything you have to get to Kemba Walker? Well, Sal, I looked over your starting lineup, and you got Blake Griffin, Andre Drummond, Luke Kennard, Wayne Ellington, and Reggie Jackson. That is a nice lineup. You guys have played really good. The Detroit Pistons have finally played up to their standards because I think they're now 12-2 in their last 14 games. They're 34-31. It looks like they're going to lock up the sixth slot in the East, pending a Boston Celtics collapse. You guys are in a nice position. If you guys have the money, go for it. Can you imagine having three playmakers, Kemba Walker, Blake Griffin, and Andre Drummond? The problem is, how long will that last? Because you got Blake Griffin under contract. He's worth a lot of money. You got Andre Drummond, who's also worth, both of them are worth over $125 million. And Kemba Walker, with a different team, I think it's going to be 4 years, $150 million or something like that. Can you afford Kemba Walker? If Kemba Walker stays with the Charlotte Hornets, he's going to get 4 years, $189 million, or 4 year. Excuse me, guys. 5 years, $189 million, and if he gets first team, which I don't think will happen, he'll get 5 years, $221 million. Excuse me. I think the Detroit Pistons are in a nice situation. If you have the pieces to move around and free up that cap room to get Kemba Walker, I think the Pistons can do that. That's a great situation for them. I think they're in a nice situation. New head coach. You got a guy that's has experience in the postseason with Dwayne Casey. He can really take them places, and I think that's important. So if I'm the Detroit Pistons, go do that. Just go do it. Sal, great question. Okay, from Eric. Eric, go Hornets. Starter is the official brand of the AAF. Why not Nike? Took some notes down. I think it's the AAF's a great opportunity for football players that couldn't make it in the NFL or couldn't get the job done. So it gives them just an excuse to play football. And these guys are making, I think, 70 to 100 grand a year, which is a nice opportunity for them. Get some living and get to play the game that you love. I think they need to develop a little longer. I think they need more income. They need more football teams. I think they have to put butts in seats. So I think Nike's a big brand who, they've been helpful for football and basketball and pros, of course. But I think they need a little more time to develop and put butts in seats because you got to understand the NFL ends in February. And I don't think people are going to want to watch football in February. Well, most of us don't. I'm like basketball and baseball when it comes to February, March, and April. So I think we all look forward to March Madness and opening day. I think that's most of us talking. Of course, and then the NBA playoffs. And so if they get maybe Fox, if they can get Fox to sponsor their games, that's huge. I think they definitely need more endorsements, more TV deals, merchandise. Any way you could put butts in seats, but I like what they're doing. I think it's a great opportunity for football players that couldn't make it in the pros, or if you're coming out of college, you're not getting drafted. I think it's a great opportunity. So, more power to them. Great question, Eric. All right, Tyler, go Chiefs. Pulling for your Chiefs, of course. With the upcoming free agent respective rumors, who wins their respective divisions? So, you asked me this 3 days ago, and it beat me to it. I was thinking Antonio Brown was going to go to the Oakland Raiders, which happened, and they won that trade because all they had to trade was a third and fifth round pick. I think that's a great move for Oakland. And Oakland is just completely stacked on draft picks, and I know not all of them are going to pan out, but they've done the right thing. I think John Gruden and their boys have done the right thing and develop younger talent and build around Derek Carr as your quarterback. Derek Carr is a very talented quarterback. I think he's going to be a big part of their success. I know, unfortunately, not too long ago, they were one of the top teams in the league, and then he had a broken leg. So, what are you going to do? Okay, so anyways, Tyler, I wrote down my upcoming top free agents coming up. Obviously, you got Le'Veon Bell with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Well, he's not in the Steelers anymore. You got Earl Thomas, safety for the Seattle Seahawks. Landon Collins, Tyrann Mathieu, and then I put Teddy Bridgewater and Nick Foles because, there's teams that always need quarterbacks. I wrote down my prediction on who I think will win these divisions. And so far we got, I think New England's still the team to beat, so they're going to win the AFC East. I got the Kansas City Chiefs winning their division, even though Oakland and Denver are making moves out there. I still think the Baltimore Ravens are the team to beat. I think Pittsburgh took a step back, and the Cleveland Browns are going to be nice and competitive. And you have to believe the Indianapolis Colts are going to take the AFC South. I think Andrew Luck coming back, and they got all that cap room coming up. I think they're going to snag a few guys in there. Excuse me, I'm just going to take a drink real quick. And then out in the NFC, I got the Philadelphia Eagles win the NFC East, the New Orleans Saints win the South, the Los Angeles Rams taking the West, and I got the Green Bay Packers. I think the Green Bay Packers, with all that cap room, I think they're going to make sure to keep Rodgers happy, and I think they got a new coaching staff that can give out some play calls, because I know they desperately need that, and I think there will be a lot of surprises this year, let's put it that way, and I can't wait to talk about it furthermore, so we got a lot of exciting news coming up. Okay, Matt, go White Sox. Thoughts on the White Sox missing out on everything? Matt, I'm as disappointed as you that Manny Machado did not come to the South Side. Like I said, I'm a big White Sox fan. I'm also at the same time not upset. Jerry Reinsdorf and Kenny Williams, known as being cheap, that's been their reservoir. I can't think of the word right now, but yeah, that's what they've been known for. And having Rick Hahn go out and making some aggressive moves. Okay, Matt, I wrote down what's coming up for the White Sox because I trust the process. I think there's going to be so many good things happening for the White Sox. I still believe in them. I think if this doesn't come through by 2021, if they don't even at least get to the playoffs by then, I think it's a fail. And I even think this year they could be contenders for the AL Central. So, okay, I wrote some guys down said that that are still on the prospect list or coming up. Excuse me. So, we got Eloy Jimenez, we got Luis Robert, 2 outfielders, Nick Madrigal, the shortstop. And then the big strength for the White Sox is going to be their starting pitching rotation. So they got Michael Kopech, who's coming off a Tommy John surgery, Carlos Rodon, Dylan Cease, minor league pitcher of the year, by the way, Dane Dunning, which I think is going to be a nice southpaw. Jesus, I can't think of his name. Okay, Lucas Giolito and Lopez. So they're going to be very built in the rotation, and I don't think it would be a time to panic if I'm a White Sox fan. I think they're going to be just fine. A couple of these guys are going to pan out. You still got a bunch of talent coming up, and you got to understand that the Atlanta Braves went through the same exact thing, and I think 1 or 2 of these guys got to pan out, and that's how you're going to attract the talent. You also have Jose Abreu you can build on. I think right now my best advice is be patient and enjoy the ride, because I've been saying that since 2017. Enjoy the ride. This is going to be the second full year of the rebuild, because if you remember correctly, 2017, the White Sox started off the year with Melky Cabrera and Todd Frazier and David Robertson, and they did have Adam Eaton. They traded him to Washington, but they had some of these veteran players, so this is their second full ride at the rebuild. So you got to understand, teams like the Chicago Cubs started their rebuild in 2012. The Houston Astros started their rebuild in 2013. Took the Cubs 4 years, got to the World Series. Took them 3 years to get to the playoffs. 2015, they made the playoffs. 2016, they won the World Series. 2017, made it to the NLCS. 2018, made the wild card game. Houston, 2015, made the first round of the playoffs. 2016, made the ALCS. 2017, won the World Series. 2018, won the ALCS. So, all good things are going to happen. I'm not saying all the rebuilds are going to work out for every single team, but I think it made no sense for Manny Machado to go to the San Diego Padres, but you know what? I know the Padres have one of the top farm systems, but they also invested $445 million on Manny Machado and Eric Hosmer. So this is basically San Diego saying, this is all we got. Let's go do it. Let's see what happens. So I wish them the best of luck, but I'm not worried about the White Sox. I'm going to enjoy the ride, and I can't wait to see more of their young talent come in. Okay, let's continue that real quick. Matt, just in case you think the White Sox missed out on everything, I announced the 2020 free agents. So we got Chris Sale, Mike Trout, Garrett Cole, Anthony Rendon, Mike Moustakas, Paul Goldschmidt, Yasiel Puig. So let's say they're still missing an outfielder or they need another arm. They got the money. They can go do it. So, Matt, you're the man. Thank you for that question. From my brother, JMO. How are the Cubs going to do this year? This is going to be a tough year for you guys, in my opinion. I think, like I just talked about with your rebuild, you guys have made the playoffs for 4 straight years. That's astounding what Theo Epstein and Tom Ricketts has done to this team. I think Cubs fans should never take that for granted. They should never take this decade for granted. This is an incredible run. You guys, are even in the 2020s, are going to have an incredible run. I saw on MLB.com they projected you guys finishing 79-83. I think that's absurd. And I just think that's ridiculous because I understand they didn't make any moves because, well, first of all, they're highly invested in John Lester, Jason Hayward, Yu Darvish, Tyler Chatwood, and Cole Hamels. So they got a lot of money on some players. But I think they're going to end up in the wild card. I think the NL Central is one of the top divisions in baseball. And St. Louis made some moves this year, and so did Cincinnati. Milwaukee stayed put because they put their money on Yelich and Kane. I think you guys will play in the wild card game again. I think Milwaukee is still going to be the team to beat in that division. I wouldn't be surprised if it was you guys versus St. Louis, or you guys versus, the Mets or somebody like that, the Braves. There's a lot of good teams in the National League. I think the National League's stacked up this year. I think that's huge. And they got to continue to build up some space and get some more ball players. I like what they're doing. I like the direction they're in. I'm going to say they win 89 games this year. I think that'll be enough to win the wild card. And I'll go on a limb and say it's going to be Cubs-Braves in the wild card game. So, JMO, thank you for that question. All right, we're double dipping here with Eric. Will younger talent be able to set up leadership roles for the Washington Nationals with the loss of Bryce Harper? Man, you guys got a tough division, man. I personally think it was a backbreaker that you guys lost Bryce Harper. I understand that he was worth, nobody's worth $30 million a year, and I couldn't agree more. I just think teams need to figure it out and put him on 6-7 year contracts at most. Okay, so I had to learn a little bit about your team, to be honest, because I don't watch much of the Nationals, but I know enough about them. So you guys lost Daniel Murphy and Bryce Harper. You guys picked up Patrick Corbin, which makes your rotation even better. You guys do have a nice young team. I like what you have. You guys got Trey Turner, Juan Soto, Michael Taylor, Adam Eaton. Your rotation, you got Scherzer, Strasburg, Corbin. I think your biggest question mark is going to be your bullpen. I think it always has been. Can Sean Doolittle continue to go out there and run games down? Do you guys have a setup man? Can they go out and hold games when you have leads? I think this is going to take about 2-3 years, if you want my honest opinion, Eric. But you guys do have a good team, I think. Dave Martinez has done a terrific job, I think, what he's got. And I thought it was very unexpected that it went downhill for you guys like that last year. I think what hurt you guys, what your window was, when Steven Strasburg was a Cy Young candidate, and he came off Tommy John surgery, and you guys decided to shut him down in September instead of playing him in the postseason. I think, keeping it blunt here, I think you guys assumed you were going to be back and have another shot at the World Series. Baseball is one of the hardest sports to get in the playoffs. I mean, that's why I salute the Boston Red Sox, the New York Yankees, the Los Angeles Dodgers, the Chicago Cubs for just continuing to be consistent. The Houston Astros. It is really hard. I mean, you have to just build a foundation. You have to have a plan. You have to go through with it. You can't just press the panic button and, decide to fold. I think they made a mistake by not trading Bryce Harper at the deadline. I think that if you remember correctly, the Dodgers traded 5 prospects for Manny Machado. So, I mean, that could have helped you guys. I think the Phillies are going to win the division. I know it's their first year as chemistry. I think Braves win the wild card. I think Mets end up third. I got you guys in 4th place. I think you guys will win 83, 84 games this year. I think you guys definitely got better. we'll see what happens. You guys got a nice young team. Just ride with it and hope it works itself out. Eric again, how will the Washington Nationals do? And will they make the postseason? Well, I got the Nationals going 84-78. And no, I don't have them making the postseason, unfortunately. Okay. Passing on my notes here. Mark, NFL teams with the best chance of massive improvement. Antonio Brown to the Oakland Raiders definitely helped their cause. The Oakland Raiders from 2019 to 2020 are going to be stockpiling draft picks and they're moving to Las Vegas. Talk about a gamble, right? Two teams that come into mind. Talk about mass improvement. Oakland Raiders and the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns went from 0 wins to 7 wins last year. Got a new head coach. I got Kitchens now. I think it was a great offensive coordinator. I think he's going to work perfectly with Baker Mayfield. Definitely, they ended up getting Kareem Hunt. We'll see how that goes. I understand the situation what happened with him and his girlfriend. So we'll see if he's even playing this year. I do like them. I think they could be a 10-win team this year. The Oakland Raiders, I think, will go from 4 wins to 8 or 9 wins this year. Bold prediction time. I think they end up getting Le'Veon Bell. I think they'll instantly become contenders. My dad said that they could be division favorites. Let's hit the brakes. They still got to go develop talent and build your team around Derek Carr. That's the plan according to John Gruden. And just continue to build your talent. Build your talent, build your draft picks, and hopefully a couple of them pan out. And the Oakland Raiders can be back to being that team again. And the thing about the Oakland Raiders is Antonio Brown's the perfect fit for there because he's got the attitude, he's got the swagger. The Oakland Raiders are players that are always punks, and they'll play dirty, and they'll fight hard. And I think Le'Veon Bell's even perfect for that. So don't be surprised if by the end of the week or end of the month, Le'Veon Bell decides to join the Oakland Raiders. Okay. Brian, would you trade Gurley for McCaffrey, Mixon in a dynasty league? Well, what I heard about Gurley, Gurley's got arthritis in his knee. So, honestly, man, I would. I mean, Christian McCaffrey, even if it's a standard or a half-point PPR or PPR. Okay, if people don't understand fantasy football, standard league is like every 10 yards you get a point in fantasy football. Half-point PPR, that's points per reception. So every catch you get, it's a half a point, and points per reception, it's PPR. McCaffrey's going to do that by himself. McCaffrey, statistically top 10 in rushing yards and receiving yards. He's personally one of my favorites. I just love, he's like a little underdog out there. He's so tough. 5'8", 220 pounds. I loved him at Stanford, so I think he's just going to continue to build a great career. And Joe Mixon's a perfect red zone guy for the Cincinnati Bengals. He's going to at least get 10 of them. And you got to believe that he's going to continue to build around the Andy Dalton and A.J. Green, that offensive line. So, my opinion, yeah. I think you got to do it. Alright. I love how we're capping this off, JMO. Better beer drinker, Stone Cold Steve Austin or Andre the Giant? Andre unanimously, bud. I think I'd want to party with Stone Cold Steve Austin, but Andre the Giant had 156 beers in one sitting. That is just absolutely ridiculous, and I drank 3 beers once, and that hurt my head. that was like 3 years ago. So I can't imagine just after a long night of performing for your fans to continue to drink 156 beers. I guess one time Ric Flair told a story that him and Andre the Giant drank a combined 105 beers. Wow, that's absolutely ridiculous. Well, that's about it for today. And honestly, just give me your feedback of how I did. And if there's something I missed out on, just be honest with me. I love this. We're going to continue to do this every Sunday. I want you guys to be just straightforward with me. Maybe I'll have somebody come along with me. I'm excited to do this, and I'm excited just to show my sports knowledge to everyone I know. So, guys, you take care of yourselves. You have a great rest of your night.